Talk about how your body has changed over the last year or so.
I started, my first show was in March of last year, and I started training, I believe. I've always been competitive, always had an athletic build. Now I've always been petite. I grew up participating in sports, and I actually was a state powerlifter. I weighed both in the 97.5 weight class and the 105 weight class. Now I'm at 115. On stage, you know, contest ready, 115, and sometimes I get up to 125 in my off season. So it's hasn't been an issue as far as dieting goes, but it's been an issue of building muscle. So that was my biggest issue, and I've actually made a lot of gains, and I feel confident. How to target areas that they really like to see, like your glutes, hamstrings, that sort of thing. But keep that feminine appeal, you know, toned, but still feminine. It's taken me a while, but I enjoy every minute of it, and it's so fun knowing that I was an athletic build, but I've still evolved and adapted and changed my body, so it's really nice to kind of see those changes.
From morning to night, walk us through a typical day for you.
Oh my gosh. It depends on the day. I'm a trainer here at 365 Fitness in Conway, Arkansas, so some of my days are longer than others. I am lucky enough to actually be in a gym, so it's nice that I don't, as far as training goes, I don't have to travel long ways, or some people have to go train on their lunch breaks. Well, I have the gym here, so I get here usually in the mornings. I'll have some clients at 5 in the morning, so I typically might wake up occasionally at 3:30 in the morning, so it makes for a very, very long day. Like I said, that's not every day, but it happens. So I'll have a client from 5, and I get my training in between 6 and 8 in the morning. Sometimes here lately I've been getting a little bit later of training sessions, but I go all the way until 8 o'clock at night, sometimes even later, training clients. I've always got my Tupperware meals here. You know, eating cold tilapia and spinach is a daily thing, but it doesn't bother me at all. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way.
This is kind of a small town. I mean, are you kind of a role model around here?
I don't know. I think from when I first moved here to Conway, I think I have established somewhat of a name for myself. I believe I'm well known in this area. I've been told, at least. So I think I definitely have grown and evolved in this area, but it's not where I want to be. I want to be, you know, eventually, who doesn't want to be known nationally? But I definitely have become somewhat of a role model. You know, I do have a fan page on Facebook, and tons of people in this area, along with other areas within the nation, have kind of contacted me and said, I'm an inspiration, you know, I'm a role model. I do have a niece in Astoria, Oregon, and I know she looks up to me. She's quite a track athlete, so, you know, it's kind of nice to be a role model to both younger women and, you know, older women as well.
Where do you think your motivation comes from?
I have always been a competitive athlete. I mean, anything that I do, I will take almost too far, in a sense. Whether it's playing a video game and I lose, or if it's, you know, playing a pickup basketball game, I'll sometimes can be a sore loser, like I said, but I've always had that competitive drive. You know, and my childhood wasn't the best growing up, and so I kind of take that to heart whenever I compete and I train. I think I try to make myself get angry and push myself, and just know that I don't want to be where some people in my life are today. So I want to be more successful than what they have, and I want to be accomplished. So, you know, I've got some drive from different experiences in my life.
Would you say that 365 Fitness is kind of your second home?
Oh my gosh, I spend more time here than I do at home. It definitely is. The staff here is phenomenal. They have become my second family as well, and tons of the members here are just such kind, genuine people. I'd be lost without them. You know, I've grown to see their faces every day, and I mean, I love it here. I truly do. I don't know what I would do with myself if I wasn't here at this gym every single day. I love it.
Tell us a story of one of your clients, a success story or something.
Well, I do have typically, a lot of people have success stories in terms of weight loss. Well, to be honest, a lot of my clients are in fairly good shape whenever they came to me. Now, I'm a huge advocate for weight training, so I've always told my clients prior to they even start with me that, if you're not a fan of weights, we're going to be doing a lot of weight training. So if you're just not into that, you probably want to look elsewhere because I'm going to make you do weights. And women are always terrified of building bulky muscle, and I'm always very reassuring to let them know that that's not going to happen. I do have some great clients. I actually just got done with one. Her name's Christy. She was in great shape prior to starting, and now she's in even better shape. She will complain a lot, but she gets it done. She always powers through a workout. I've also got one named Tiffany. I trained her and her son. Her son's 11 years old. His name's Hunter, and they're a handful too, but I love them to death, and I'd be lost without them too. They have grown to be almost family to me as well. And, she is stick thin, so her issue was gaining muscle, as far as her diet goes, but she has toned up. She's got some bicep muscles now, and she doesn't have little baby arms, as she calls them, but, like I said, in terms of all my clients, they were all in pretty good shape prior to starting with me, so it's all been about building muscle and going from there. Of course, we've had to critique all their diets, incorporate more protein, that sort of thing, but they've all done great.
Sometimes you see a lot of women, they do a bunch of cardio, but they never do weights.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about it already a little bit, but why is lifting weights important for women?
I think a lot of women, they want to tone up and they want to build that lean muscle mass, but they panic if they begin to lift weights. They think that if you lift any sort of amount of weight that you're going to gain that bulky muscle. And I always try to tell anybody, any woman that I ever talk about, or any women that have ever came to me and try to want to develop a toned body, a physique, I always tell them that you gotta train weights. A lot of women think that, this goes with weight loss as well too. You don't want to just do cardio all the time. You want a happy medium, incorporate cardiovascular training as well as weight training. And I always tell them you want to establish that lean muscle mass. So high reps, low weight, high reps. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Sometimes you could do just standard body weight exercises and that'll suffice. A lot of my clients, I will beat them to a pulp and they're just doing body weight exercises. They're not even doing any type of weight training. But weights are extremely important. You want to build lean muscle mass, you're not going to get it any other way than lifting weights.
When you go on stage, you're thinking about the posing and stuff, and when you walk off, talk about that feeling.
Well, I was a competitive cheerleader. I grew up doing cheerleading, and I was always known for, my smile in cheerleading, and I got numerous compliments for that growing up. But in terms of competing, I really don't get nervous when I step foot on stage. I have been so used to kind of not necessarily being in the spotlight by myself, but being with a group of girls or individuals as a team, So I just love it. I love cheering, and I kind of apply that same concept to competing now. I go out on stage and I just show who I am. I try to show my personality to the judges in hopes that they can feed off of my energy and see kind of who I am. And it's not always about that sex appeal to me. I want the judges to kind of see me for who I am, and I try to portray that on stage, and it's just fun. I'm only on there for a brief minute or so, but it's a really great minute, and I enjoy every minute of it.
Do you get a lot of compliments on your abs?
Yeah, I do. A lot of times people ask me, you must train abs day in, day out. But I really don't. A lot of people don't realize there's exercises that develop your abdominal strength, and it's not even doing crunches or anything like that. Walking lunges, squats, those help develop your core as well. And I do weighted abs, but I don't train them any more than I train any other muscle groups. But yeah, my abs I think are kind of what I'm known for. But like I said, I don't overtrain them.
We talked about it a little bit already, but your passion for the gym.
Well, like I said, I grew up playing sports. I also said that, my childhood wasn't exactly what an ideal childhood was. So I think I took that not as a bad sign. I took out my aggressions towards other things. So I participated in sports, and I just kept my mind so preoccupied with other things that I didn't think about the hardships that I was faced with. And I have just always applied that concept to the rest of my life. I'm so determined and driven to be something, and not necessarily as be the richest person in the world. I just want to be satisfied, content, and happy with my life that I live, and I want to be more than some of the people that are involved in my life have become, I guess. And the fitness industry, I think, was what I leaned on when I needed it something the most, and it was there. Sports were there, my coaches were there, my teammates were there for me, and I love it so much. It's such a gratifying experience to see people within the fitness industry and just that have a passion and drive for it just as much as I do. And I'd be completely lost without it. I do personal training right now, and I want to continue to do it for years and years, of course, and build my clientele base a little bit more. But eventually, I'd like to retire within this industry as well, and potentially open up my own facility for training or gym, a locally owned gym, who knows. But regardless of what it is, it's always going to be involved within the fitness industry.
You have a passion for helping people, don't you?
Yes, I do. Actually, I guess you can kind of consider me a pescatarian, I believe. That's what it's called. I only consume fish. I don't eat any meat, poultry, none of that. And the reason being, it's not anything to do with health concerns. It's because I'm a huge, huge animal lover. I cannot bear to see anything in pain or hurt. I can't tell you how many times I've stopped and got stray dogs, or stopped to help a turtle cross the road, or I've literally stopped and got tarantulas out of the road in Texas. It's sometimes a burden, but I cannot go past an animal on the street and not turn around and try to help it out in some way possible. I do have a miniature Australian Shepherd. He's my pride and joy. His name's Cooper. He's a handful, but I love him to death. And the same concept goes with people. I do have a very, very big heart, and like I said, I was faced with hardships, and I don't want to ever see anybody else be faced with the same things that I went through. So if I can reach out to somebody, I will do my best to, and that goes with anybody. I've seen tons of homeless people and that sort of thing who are just basically begging you for a buck or two, and you just pass them on the street. But if I've come to my life where I can't spare a dollar or two for somebody, then I'm doing something wrong, So I just try to help anybody that I possibly can, and even if they don't appreciate it, at least I'm getting some type of gratification out of it. Because like I said, I can't stand to bear or see anybody in any type of hardships, or it just breaks my heart.
What type of hardships have you gone through?
Well, growing up, my real father, he was in and out of prison my entire life. Him and my mother had addiction problems, and they're great people. I do love them tremendously, and they're still both involved in my life. And like I said, I do love them, but I think they know that they've made their fair share of mistakes within my life. But I just didn't have great parental role models growing up, and it just kind of still to this day puts a lot of hardship on me. I have forgave them for their mistakes, and I do love them, but it's something that I'll never forget, unfortunately. And they both had abusive tendencies, I guess, towards one another, not towards me. But, I do have a stepfather. He has been so tremendous to me. He has really guided me in the path that I needed to go. And, my grandparents did a wonderful job. They kind of had to take the lead a little bit whenever my parents separated. But, it's been a good life. I can't complain. Some people will take that and just let it drive them into the ground, and I've never had that mentality. That's not something that I want. I let it motivate me, push me to do better, strive for better things than what they've accomplished, So I'm satisfied with it. I've got no regrets or remorse about it.
I saw you met some people. You met Ronnie Coleman. What was that like? Was that fun?
Yeah, I have met Ronnie Coleman several times. Not that I know him on a personal level. I don't. He probably doesn't even remember meeting me, but he's such a huge role model in terms of the fitness industry. And if you are involved in the fitness industry, you better know who Ronnie Coleman is, and still to this day, he's on the cover of Flex magazine, and, I was just reading one last night, and he was in it for something. He's got a huge supplement line, and I think recently he picked up Sean Roden, but, it's a rewarding experience. I hope that one day people will get so excited about meeting me, as I got excited meeting Ronnie Coleman. It's a fun experience, and I love to see bodybuilders, and he was just somebody that, oh my gosh, whenever you see him, it's amazing, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience to meet him.
Warren Martin, who's that?
Warren Martin, he is a fellow trainer here. He is a very established and well-known trainer within the Conway area. He actually has a published book, and he's been on several different TV shows. He's very, very good at what he does, and he is one of my biggest role models in terms of trainers. He's so inspiring, and I love to watch what he does. He's been training for well over 10 years, I believe, and he's got a great clientele base, and I'd like to say that a lot of my passion and drive comes from watching what he does, and he's a great trainer. Hopefully one day I'll be as reputable and as acknowledged as he is. I try to kind of let my fans see my struggles and my triumphs as well, that way that people don't realize, I'm an ordinary person, I work an 8-hour job, if not longer than that, but I still manage to eat well, train adequately, and, I want people to see that side of me, that I'm not some fitness star by any means, I'm just a typical person that lives a daily life just like everybody else. So, I think sometimes people get that kind of confused, and it's just, I want them to see that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. It's not impossible, and I definitely want to be an inspiration to others and just help anybody in any ways possible.
Cool. Do you want to add anything else?
I'm a sponsored athlete through iForce Nutrition. I've been sponsored for them just around a year now. They're a great supplement company. They support me just as much as, the members here at 365 Fitness, along with the staff. Anthony Sacamani has been my coach, and he has dealt with me in my worst times, and it's nice. Hopefully he'll deal with me in my best times too, but it's been fun. It's been a fun experience, and I'm really looking forward to see where I'll be in the next few years.